This is episode 118. You've been lied to about how you can achieve success. It's time to stop listening to those lies. We will tell you the truth today. Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to give you a question right now that I want you to seriously answer, whether you're driving or sitting down or listening, wherever you are. I want you to please answer this question. What right now is holding you back? Now, if your answer was nothing, I'm doing everything I want to, that's fine. Let me ask you this question first. What are your goals? Think big. If you could be living your dream life, the one you only think about when you think about winning the lottery, what would that look like? Is that being in Hawaii? Is that owning your own business? Is that staying home? Is that buying a ranch with your family? Is that, moving to a different state? What does that look like? If you had all the money that you needed, what would you do? Would you go, sail the seas? Would you buy your own boat? Would you move to a different country? What would you do? Would you give it all away? Would you help some kind of charitable organization? Would you go to Africa? Would you go to South America and do charity missions? What would you do? So think about that right now for me, please. So I'll ask you one more time. When you think about winning the lottery, what would you do? What would that look like? Okay, now you got it. Capture that in your mind. Now let's go back to the other question. What is holding you back? What is keeping you from living your full potential? Why can you not get there? The answer is you can. Now, some people, confuse me by thinking that, Jason said this, I can go do that tomorrow. No. It might be a year. It might be 10 years. Heck, it might be 30 different years. But what are you doing to make it there if it's something you really, really want to do? Like I said in one of the previous podcasts, I have decided to make enough money to go make a difference. I will have money. I will be wealthy so that I can give. Period. End of story. I didn't always think that. I grew up with a company where it was like, this is what you do. This is how much you're going to be paid. We're going to contribute to your retirement. And then when you're 65, 70, 75, you can retire with $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. But you're basically going to work for the man the rest of your life. And that's what I thought. That's the mindset that I had. That's what my parents did. And only through books and mentors have I said, wait a minute, that's not what I want to do. I want to do this. And this is how we get there. So what do you want to do in life? And what is holding you back? Let's talk about that today. So there's a really neat exercise, which I do in most of my trainings. And if you hear this and get freaked out, don't worry about it. You'd be fine if you had to do it. But it's called winning $50 million. And the way this is facilitated is two people get together and one person introduces the other with full energy, full enthusiasm, full projection that they won $50 million, right? And the other person has to react in person in front of a group or in their smaller group. What would that look like if they won the lottery? Now, this isn't an exercise of, I'm so happy and crying and stuff. It's how can you act as enthusiastically, 100%, all inhibitions, pushed to the side, no fear of, hey, who's watching me? What would it look like if you were just so stinking excited because you just won $50 million? And this exercise in trainings gets people to open up and perform and get out of their comfort zone and start talking to each other. It's pretty fantastic. But I always think okay, what would I really do if I won the lottery? Well, instead of winning the lottery and leaving it up to chance and destroying a bunch of other people's lives by encouraging gambling, how about we head in a direction where we actually go earn those things, and it's possible through mentors, through learning, through understanding proper paradigms, and through really getting a coach, right? So let's talk about that today. What I'm excited about in life right now is that I get to go back to these wonderful books. I've never really had a physical mentor. I have mentors now. I have people, consultants, business owners that coach me all the time. I didn't always have that, but for most of my life, books have been my coaches. And the people that I hang out with, the people that I associate with, remember that quote that you're the average of your 5 closest friends, and you're the average of the books that you've read, and you're the summation of all of the principles you have mastered. I'm excited because of books like The One Thing and Focal Point and Unbeatable Mind and The 4-Hour Workweek and How to Win Friends and Influence People. These books really show us that we can go really live the life that we want, not because of some socialist dream of we deserve it and that we're entitled to it, but that you can earn it and that you can get there and you can do more. See, that's Jason Schroeder. Is go earn it and do more. It's not that you're owed it and that it's automatically going to come to you easy, okay? So we really need to appreciate that, in my opinion, the fact that we can do so much better and go so much farther in life and contribute so much more. We can all go earn the money we want to earn. It's there in front of us for the taking if we work hard at it and we grind. And I do want to emphasize that word grind. So first, before we get into the podcast content, thank you for listening. If you have craft workers or foremen, please send these podcasts to them. Please stop right now and send this so they can have this content and be invited to do better. People are reaching out to me that have systems and trainings and networks for workers. We will have the Foreman Boot Camp up and running early next year, hopefully in February. There's so much out there to help skilled craftsmen and women, foreman workers. It's absolutely fantastic. So here's the conflict for us today. Society lies to us about a great many things. We are taught false things at an early childhood, from how to do CPR the wrong way, how we should look at retirement, that we have to go to a university to be successful and get into the professions. We're taught lies about construction scheduling and CPM, the fundamentals of finance, that we have to work a lot of hours to be successful. And there's just on and on and on. So many different things that are just absolute lies. Remember, and I do want to point this out, remember that schools and most universities and most trainings and even trade schools are teaching you to be an employee, not a leader, not an entrepreneur, not a business owner. Keep that in mind. You are being trained to be a part of the assembly line, and that's not always what people want. Some people want to be an employee. Some people want to be a part of the system. Some people want to, go to school for 14 years after high school and become a doctor and be stuck in that role according to, common standards of care, industry standards of care. But some people want to go do specific things, take it to the next level, go into an industry niche, make certain kinds of money. Don't get locked into these lies that society tells us. So I'm going to talk about that today. Let me tell you a quick story. This is just really brief. I remember somebody hearing me say that I go to Tony Robbins events. I love, his podcasts, his books. His events are 10 times better than any of those, though, and that I really enjoy his programs. And in fact, I started my business based on the mastermind program with him and Dean Graziosi. He's like, yeah, there's a guy that I knew up in Park City that lives there and goes, skiing and snowboarding all the time. And he really did well. And I asked him, hey, you have like 7 or 8 properties. You're retired, at an early age. You don't have to work. You do whatever you want. You have all this money. What happened? Meaning this is my friend that was telling me this. And the guy responded, well, like 30 years ago, I did a seminar with Tony Robbins and he was talking to me about real estate, and I went out and I started flipping homes and then buying rental properties. And now I'm wealthy and I have exactly what I need. There are so many stories like that. You'll also hear people get kind of negative about Tony Robbins and have bad things to say, but everybody has their opinion. And that's fine. I'm interested in the progress and the gifts that he's giving by scaling the opportunity to believe in ourselves and to go do more. And so that's really what we're looking at. Where is your opportunity where some guy in the seminar or some coach or some book or something entice you to go do something that will give you a return on your investment in 10, 20, 30 years to where you can live the life that you want to live and give to society? So that's really what we're talking about today. Now, here's a quote for you. Success is about doing the right thing, not about doing everything right. And I love that. A general superintendent that I infinitely respect told me one time, Jason, it's excellence, not perfection. And I always have remembered that, and it's so true. So let's talk about the 6 lies between you and success. And as an introduction to this, let me tell you a couple of things. As you start to prepare and learn and model the behaviors that you want to be the person you want to be, you will get extraordinary results once you create a domino effect and build skill after skill, decision after decision after decision, one thing at a time. And so don't get discouraged and try and do too much at one time, and don't give up on the path because it might be 9 different incremental steps over 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 years to get you to where you want to be. And success leaves clues. No one is self-made and no one succeeds alone. No one. Everyone needs a mentor. Everyone needs to network. And the things that you're supposed to be working on will show up as given by the universe again and again in the lives of the people that are looking for them and who has a desire to progress and listen, right? There's a really neat book that I read one time called Big Magic, and she talked about that ideas and inspiration and tasks and books and the creation of these really neat things that the world needs will come to you, and you have to act on those things. Otherwise, it will be given to somebody else. And she talks about in the book a story where she was inspired to write a certain book, didn't really do anything with it. And a year later, she found out somebody in New York had written the exact same book, almost word for word. It was absolutely amazing. And she was like, I am convinced that ideas will transition from one person to another if you don't act. So don't be afraid to follow the clues that are given to you by God or inspiration, mentors, or whatever, or opportunity, and follow them one by one. Now, the 6 lies, meaning the things that you're lied to about, are these. Number 1, everything matters equally. That's not true. That you can multitask. Not true. That you have to live a disciplined life. Not true. That willpower is always on will call. Not true. That you have to live a balanced life. Not true. That going big is bad. That is not true as well. So let me explain these things individually. So everything matters equally. Well, if everything matters, then nothing does. When everything feels urgent and important, everything seems equal. We become active and busy, but that actually doesn't move us any closer to success. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're like, I'm doing this and I'm doing this, and then I need to do TV and I'm going to take these trips and I'm going to do that and that and that and that and that, and we have so many things on our to-do list that we're always just busy and moving, then you're not focused on the 20% that will bring you the 80% of your return in life. And you need to change that and cut things out of your life, delegate others, and focus on the things that will get you to where you want to be and who you want to be. The other one is multitasking. Multitasking is a lie. When you try to do 2 things at once, you either can't or won't do either of them well. So this comes back to focus again. It's not that we have too little time to do all the things we need to do. It's that we feel the need to do too many things in the time that we have. This is a fact. And researchers estimate that workers are interrupted every 11 minutes and then spend most of a third of their day recovering from these distractions. And if you want to take your next step and get the 10,000 hours in to become an expert or start your business or be who you want to be or get that promotion, you can't afford to waste your time. A disciplined life. This is a myth for those who feel like they have to do everything perfectly. It's not about perfection, it's about excellence. Success is actually a short race, a sprint fueled by discipline just long enough for a habit to kick in and take over. When you discipline yourself, you're essentially training yourself to act in a specific way. Stay with this long enough and it becomes a routine. In other words, a habit. But if you stay with it too long and try and do everything in your life perfectly, it's going to hold you back. Let me give you an example in my life. When I start a book, I feel like I'm obligated to finish it. I want to say that I've perfectly read all these books. But some books are garbage, and I need to, even though I spent $12 on Audible, I need to get into that first hour and say, this isn't for me, cut it. It was really hard for me to do, but I'm realizing that I have to cut certain things out and reduce my need for perfection and get to where I'm doing the right things in an excellent manner. The key is for us to have the right habits, the right things, the right processes, the right tasks, and to not do anything that will slow us down. Here's the other one. Willpower is always on call. That is so stinking false. And especially if you're a worker or foreman, hey, by the time you hit 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock, yours and mine and all of our brains are like toast. And if safety and if organization and cleanliness and systems aren't a routine, it's not a habit, then your willpower will wear down and it will be harder for you to make critical decisions. And you will be tired by the time you go home and won't be working on the things that you want and need to be working on to achieve your goals in life, whether it's training or it's another business or a side hustle or taking care of your family or whatever, or a charitable organization. When we tie our success to our willpower without understanding what that really means, we set ourselves up for failure. Willpower is always on will call is a lie. The more we use our mind, the less minding power we have. You make doing what matters most a priority when your willpower is at the highest, so focus and get back to your one thing. A balanced life. Now, I'll always say, team balance or work-life balance or work-life blend, but this is meant a little bit differently. Viewed wistfully as a noun, balance is lived practically as a verb. A balanced life is a lie. In your effort to attend to all things, everything gets shortchanged and nothing gets done and nothing gets its due. When you gamble with your time, you may be placing a bet you can't cover. No matter how hard you try, there will always be things left undone at the end of the day. So instead of trying to balance everything, balance the right things. And there will be times where you really need to focus, where you're like, family's most important right now. I'm a little bit out of balance. Or I need to get through this week of work. I need to focus there. I'm a little bit out of balance. Or I need to focus on my schooling right now or starting my business right now. I'm a little bit out of balance. Don't be afraid to go put your whole heart, might, mind, and soul into something for a little bit to get you past that next step, as long as you come back to a more responsible life. So knowing or thinking that you have to have a balanced life 100% of the time will hold you back. Okay, here's the last one. Big is bad. Big is bad is a lie. When big is believed to be bad, small thinking rules the day, and bigger never sees the light of it. No one knows their ultimate ceiling for achievement, so worrying about it is a waste of time. And one thing that I would say is that I've been told through books and other things, if you don't have an impossible goal that you're striving for, then your goal's not set high enough. Meaning you're not leveraging your possible full potential. So let's get back to that goal. You want to be on the beach in Hawaii, or you want to go build that charitable organization, or you want to, buy a ranch, buy a farm so your kids can enjoy that life. Why not? Set the goal high. And when you set the goal high, you will start performing high. If somebody wants to win in the Olympics, they don't set the bar mid-level. They set it at an impossible height so they can beat that height, so they can win the game, even if it's by a fraction of an inch or a fraction of a second. You really have to set that goal high. Big is not bad. Set yourself some unrealistic goals. If you don't have people criticizing you for how big your goals are, then they're not high enough. I've always had people be like, oh, Jason, you can't do that. That's too much. That's too far. Oh my gosh. And then I have other people that encourage me. But for the most part, you will have people saying, don't do it. Get that out of your head. Big is not bad. Big is good. Go set your sights on something that is worth your time, that respects your minimal time on earth. Success comes down to being appropriate in the moments of your life. If you can honestly say, this is where I'm meant to be right now, doing exactly what I'm doing, then all the amazing possibilities of your life become possible. So that's it. Don't believe those things. Everything matters equally. Lie. Multitasking. Lie. Living a disciplined life. Lie. Willpower is always on will call. Lie. You have to always 100% of the time have a balanced life. Lie. Big is bad. That's a lie. Those are all lies, all 6 of them. So don't get stuck in that trap. You are not a victim. You, whether you're a worker or you're pushing a broom or you're a laborer or you're a foreman, you can believe and do and accomplish anything you want as long as you start working for it. So don't think that that's your position in life, that's your place. If that's where you want to be, great. Go do the best that you can be. Go be the best that you can be, but don't get stuck. The current condition is we get stuck in our current habits and we don't progress. We focus on the wrong things. We do too many things. We think we can do everything, and we think we can only go so far, and that is just not true. So here's a challenge. 3S your life. Sort out your life, straighten it up, and shine and sweep it. Meaning, number 1, get rid of anything that's wasting your time. Number 2, organize everything else that you have to do. And number 3, make sure that everything that you're doing is clean, organized, and exactly what will bring you 80% of your return and bring you the success that you want, and make sure it's wholesome and good and wonderful. Sort, straighten, shine. 3S your life. The glimpse of your future is that you can achieve any goal that you set your mind to. Just give it the right inspired timeline and head there now, and do not listen to the naysayers. I hope this helps. The vision here is that you can achieve anything you want. You respect yourself, your family, and the gifts that God has given you. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.